Let's talk big moves in the futures market. The one over the weekend in Bitcoin definitely caught folks' attention. Scott Bauer is joining. One guy I know is watching it, the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. So, Scott, impressed by the move, impressed by the news that was tied to it around China. What do you think?
No, Oliver, I'm not, unfortunately. I mean, it's great that President Xi came out and said that they want to get right into the thick of things with blockchain. It's great for Bitcoin, but if you look, a lot of the altcoins didn't follow as well, and I think that many shorts in Bitcoin got caught way off guard here and went to cover, and that's why we saw that big, massive push up above 10,000. Now, granted, we're still hovering at 92, 9,300, which is, what, $1,700, $1,800 off of the lows of where we just were. But this is something that has to play out a little bit and not be overreactive, which that initial push was.
Right. So it's interesting, Scott, because earlier on in the week, Bitcoin was dropping, and the story was, oh, well, Libra's scrutiny by the government. And I have so much trouble finding any logic between the Bitcoin moves in Libra. When Libra was announced, it was a time where Bitcoin happened to be rallying, and everybody said, oh, this is, a validation of it, even though it seemed like what they're trying to do is create an alternative to the actual, potential, medium of exchange use for Bitcoin. So if China's looking to race to do something similar to a Libra event, which Zuckerberg also talked about in his testimony, I'm still having trouble how that helps really Bitcoin, except for maybe a validation of the tech. I mean, it still means someone's trying to get in front of its use as an exchange.
Yes, it's validation of the technology, no doubt about it, which is, listen, it's years and years away. Maybe it's months and months away. However, this violent reaction that we saw happens only when we see news like this, and there's nothing of substance behind it yet. So, yes, we got a lot of value behind it. In fact, today's CME Bitcoin futures, I think they traded over 5,000 contracts, which is the largest that we've seen in quite a while.
Yes.
But there's really nothing of substance behind this yet, and to me, it's a lot of shorts that got really caught with their pants down, quite frankly.
So that being said, given how much activity there was around 10,000 on the way down, resistance. I mean, ever since July, it was like a wall you couldn't break to get below 10. Does that mean, Scott, do you take a technical approach and say 10,000 now becomes a tough area to get back above? Do you want to short BTC here?
You know what? I don't want to short it here. It's really in the middle of no man's land. I mean, it's easy to be the Monday morning quarterback, captain of the ship, and look back and say, oh, 10.2 or 10.3, wherever it traded to, was the spot to short it at. However, there is some resistance up there right around, 10.4 area. But where we're sitting right now, honestly, is no man's land. If we do get back up to that 10.3, 10.4 area, I might be a little bit more on board to buy into it. However, right here, I'm not doing anything. But if we start slipping below again, and slipping not on big volume, but if we start to tail off again and we start slipping and get below that 85 and then maybe that 82 level, I think we're heading right back to 73, 74 where we just came from.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk some energy for a sec. Switching gears, okay. We've got a big move in nat gas, up 7.3% after about a month of declines. What do you think?
So again, talk about, the shorts getting caught off guard here, like in Bitcoin. Just last week, a record number of short natural gas futures contracts, 228,000 contracts, which that's a huge number, hit the marketplace. And then we get the weather outlook for colder than average temperatures. The next couple weeks, we're getting snow, we're getting, worse off weather, and boom, we get a big spike up in natural gas. Now, a lot of it is just natural due to this time of year, to the seasonality of how this thing trades, but a lot of that massive spike that we saw, Oliver, is also due to shorts covering. Now, that being said, we are getting into that seasonality of time where we see natural gas typically trade 260, 270, maybe even into the 3 range. If we can get above 270 here from a technical standpoint, 320 is really the next level.
So this is kind of what I'm curious about, because nat gas has a way of moving, expeditiously, Scott. I think most traders know this, right? They kind of joke about it being the widowmaker, and indeed it did make some last year. But when you see this move, if we look at the 5-day chart, the speed that this is taking off now over the past week ahead of winter, I mean, do you want to try and ride this as a momentum trade?
Not yet. Again, I mean, I'm trying to be very cautious, just like with Bitcoin. Not yet. I want to see this rally sustain itself 260, 265 level. Then I'll jump in. I don't want to get in on this, this big jump up first here. I will say, though, that, we talk about this being the widowmaker and kind of left out for dust. 225 area or so really held as some big time support. So if that truly was a technical spot here, then 260, 265 area that we're at should build up a lot of volume. And if that volume continues and we get above 270, that's where I want to start jumping in on the momentum trade.
Yeah, all right. Scott Bauer, good stuff. CEO of Prosper Trading Academy, walking through futures all across the board here. Love the diversity, Scott Bauer. We'll be right back. Let's talk some